Welcome, Leo, to your October 2020 tarot reading and forecast. It's great to see the subscribers back again, my pride of lions. And I was going to say that if you have a decision to make or you're uncertain or worried about something, then you can always contact me and have a look at the information box below, and that will show you how to do that. Now look, I'm going to draw five cards in fact, for you today to see what is in store for you for Leo, October 2020. Let's start with this card, shall we? There's the Five of Cups. Something here. Temperance. Something here. Four of Cups. The Four and Five of Cups. It's interesting. Something here. The Wheel of Fortune. And something here. The Empress. Well, that is good for you. So let's get together. We'll have a quick look at these cards together, and you can check out the imagery while it channels to me what is in store for you this month. Next month's reading will be published on Wednesday the 7th of October at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. Let's have a look at this Five of Cups first, shall we? Now, the fives can often be difficult because they have, for me, with the number 5, Mars associated with it, and Mars is a very impersonal, rambunctious and aggressive planet, and often can upset things. And the thought that comes through to me first of all is that of an ancient Roman poet in Latin language who said, "Love conquers all," the poet Virgil. Here we have the guarded heart. In the center is a garden of paradise. It has 2 trees with ripe fruit, figs and pears that clothe and feed man and woman. A forever green, fragrant lawn, a waterfall, and in the heart of it is a well that leads to another world. This small well is the mother of the 3 great rivers that etch the landscape into deep canyons, gorges, and ravines before rejoining the ocean thousands of miles away. The guardian of the well is a pure white unicorn with the 8 legs of Sephira and Chiron's key over his heart, over the mouth of the well. Now, you may have heard of Chiron from the YouTube astrologers. Chiron was the half-man, half-horse centaur that who was the tutor of many Greek heroes. Though most centaurs are undisciplined and lusty, Chiron was a more learned and civilized thing than most men. He taught his young charges the healing arts and astronomy, but the great healer could never heal himself. He was struck in the thigh with an arrow tipped in the blood of the Hydra, which inflicted a terribly painful wound on him. But being immortal, he could not die. He suffered for many years before finally he convinced the gods to trade his immortal life for that of Prometheus, and thus willingly sacrificed himself. The horse, I think, is often a creature from the sea in mythology, a symbol of beautiful earth with its incredibly fast and stable 4 legs and freedom of movement. It comes out of the surf like this shell in this 4 of Cups that we'll get to in just a second. And it is a treasure. And here it sits in the middle of the Garden of Eden, teaching, guarding, watching, and protecting. Now, the energy around this for me is that of Mars ruling the first decan of Scorpio, that 23rd of October to about the 2nd of November. Now, Mars in Scorpio, well, we'd expect a really positive aspect to this card because Mars in classical astrology is the ruler of Scorpio. But it has this number 5 with it as well for me. It's taking place, Mars and Scorpio, alongside this number 5. And that is Mars. And this adds extra fire. And so the energy is not in balance. And it is as if the double dose of fire from Mars is evaporating the waters of Scorpio. Okay, look, something might not work out as expected, but the card is saying don't wallow around in self-pity and regret, because new and better experiences are in store for you, and they definitely are in this thing. It could be that you have become somewhat disillusioned about your life ahead and your future. Or, if you are feeling disappointed by someone else's actions, find it in your heart to forgive them, because forgiveness releases the person who forgives. Could be that feelings have surfaced, which this card can point to, and often they tend to give rise to a fear of taking another risk or making an effort in the future, or hiding away in some place where you can't be disappointed again. Either some much too high expectation of yours has been crushed, or somewhere deep inside you lurks the fear of some disappointment. Now, this is saying, is a good time to learn from this knowledge. In what areas of your life do you feel disappointment? What have you learned from the disappointment you've experienced until now? How can you prevent disappointment? Say to yourself, I get to know my own reality by learning to see where I fool myself or where I deny my inner voice. Well, it makes sense, I think, to look at this next Cups card that's here in the same suit, the 4. Let's have a look at this 4. We just briefly mentioned it before, didn't we? Now, no emotion or dream is without cause or meaning. They are not random flotsam, like something thrown up by the surf, but they are meaningful windows and clues into that which the subconscious is dealing with. This is important because it is the foundation for your consciousness. It colors your whole perception of the world and decides what information you will take notice of, what motivates you, what drives you, where you will direct your libido and your energy. The shell is a dream, emotion, perception, or intuition, a gift from the ocean of your subconscious, not to be taken lightly or repressed, but to be given reverence and just consideration. Just like a pearl that takes many, many layers of slow coating, this is how the emotions should be tended to, slowly, surely, and something beautiful will result. Take it slow. A drip can make holes in rocks. Water erodes softly and slowly. Water builds and creates slowly, gently. Yin, that feminine principle. This is the Lord of blended pleasure. Now, the energy here is that of the moon ruling the 3rd decan of Cancer, 12th to the 22nd of July. Now, the moon rules Cancer, which is a great strength of this card. I think the underlying message here is that you want to be emotionally fulfilled, but perhaps you're going about it the wrong way. The moon is associated with the principle of flux and change, and your emotional states may be shifting like the phases of the moon. This speaks very much of love, tenderness, care, emotional riches. Do you know, when this appears in this center with this card up here like this, it can sometimes signify that you are looking to material things for happiness, that you seek temporary pleasure as an escape from feelings of discontentment. It reminds you to realize what you do have and to appreciate it, because, let's face it, you know a lot of people who are worse off than you. Perhaps even it's the case that you might be becoming too familiar with your environment And if that's the case, start asking yourself, what do you do? Do you spruce it up? Or do you think of moving either out of a place that you live or a work or with a circle of people or with a person? You are being given much love and devotion. Enjoy it without becoming dependent on it. Are you in any relationship in which you feel restricted? Are you expressively devoted to someone? Say to yourself, I enjoy being with people, I enjoy being myself, and I am full of thankfulness and joy. Now this next card that you drew is one which I love. It has Jupiter all around it, which brings you luck, abundance, prosperity, and good fortune. This is the Lady of the Forces of Life. Divine chaos. The Wheel of Fortune is the ever-changing nature of life and perfection in struggle. Could there be a more simple, human, or profound symbol than the wheel? A circle within a cross, centering you in the middle of the four cardinal directions, or the four aspects of yourself, something like a sacred mandala, that image and artifact used to concentrate the mind in meditation by Tibetan Buddhists. Yeah, the circle displaying the evolution of life and time. It describes the most fundamental state of things, from the microcosmic atom to the macroscopic galaxies, to the inner space of our souls locked within the flesh of our bodies. Now, if God created the universe to see himself, here she is, a fully bloomed rose expressed in space and time with matter and movement. And here we are with our consciousness and perception of self, a part of the body of Shekinah, which is the feminine aspect of God. Angels joyfully partaking of life, experiencing God in all its minute aspects and the possibilities through the serpent of infinity. Consciousness lies along the spectrum from the deepest consciousness to the highest consciousness, and each level has its own reality. Now, mundane reality is not the same as mystical or esoteric reality. Mundane reality is the outer rim of the wheel. Let me just pull this out a bit here so you can see it in the context of other things. And in that outer rim of the wheel, we see that it is turning, bringing women and men to suffer through the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, if I can borrow the quote from Shakespeare's Hamlet, or to the bliss of love and compassion, and ends in crushing under the great wheel of the juggernaut of time and death, only to begin again, the ever-changing nature of life. Here on the rim, we are all different. Time seems spread out in a straight line, and we perceive it as individual moments in a row. But in the center, however, there is no difference. All is one. There is no good and evil. There just is what there is. What is violent, in reality, is a gentle, willing parting of soft folds. There is no time, there is no space. I think that this is going to represent for you a time of unexpected change in your life, which is going to be favorable, but which may not necessarily seem that way at first. Be ready to act on any unexpected opportunities. When times are good, stay centered, because things can change. And if things are challenging, don't be discouraged, because things are going to get better. Change is about to happen. Now, you may need to alter your present course or change things around to set the stage for the right outcomes to come into your life. If you struggle against the course of life, you become like someone who's struggling against the wheel and may be liable to be crushed beneath it. But the center of the wheel, despite the ebbs and flows of fortune, is never shaken or broken. So if you stay centered to your own truth, you will get through any hardship at all. Now, if no miracles are happening for you, something is wrong. You stand before the possibility of a great breakthrough. Use this moment. Are you ready for the great fortune? What is standing in the way? Say to yourself, I am a prosperous individual. I am flexible in times of change. I enjoy manifesting internal abundance externally. Abundance, which created me, is what I am. I am now ready for the miracle of my life. Let's now look at the daughter of the reconcilers, the bringer forth of life. Great degree of Sagittarius around you, so they're going to be important to you at this time. And you'll take on the energy and the optimism, the fiery nature of Sagittarius as well, which complements you perfectly. The tiger in the water is the king and queen, married in the tomb of death, time and eternity, creation and destruction. The tiger is the inundation, bringing fertility back to the wasted land. The Holy Grail, healing the wounded king. The tiger is the great energy and life force, the elixir of immortality, exploding and erupting into the water and matter of connectedness. Eternity in time, the eternal soul within the body, shackled in time. Now, as these opposites come together with no barrier of ego which has been destroyed, which has been devoured into the earth in death, melded with the black earth and bed of the cave, the energy flows powerfully, beautifully, symmetrically, filling all selves with divinity, with the elixir of the Holy Grail. Now, this is asking you to visit the interior of the earth and purifying what you find there. And when you do so, you will discover the hidden jewel. You are learning to bring about balance and moderation in your life. Be patient. Let things evolve at their natural pace, which is what this was saying here as well. Go with this flow. Do some self-evaluation to re-examine your life's priorities. Work in harmony for a place of stability and strength within you. The emphasis of this card is one of reintegration. And this can reflect a period of self-evaluation in order to re-examine your life's priorities. You are now seeking a much greater balance between your inner and outer self, searching for a higher meaning and purpose in life. Now, you might experience during this time a clash between your habits and your new self, but just trust your inner self. What does it mean for you to find your hidden jewel? Close your eyes and visualize a fountain of energy in your body. Bathe a while in this rejuvenating current. And say to yourself, I equally value the light and dark within my own nature. I am a well-integrated person. I surrender to the transforming powers of the divine. I am an open channel for divine energy. Well, let me now turn to this beautiful girl down here, the Empress. Here she is, the daughter of the mighty ones. Let's have a look at her. What do you have to tell me, my darling? What do you have to tell my Leo friend here today? Well, there are two mother archetypes in the first few major arcana. The High Priestess, who you probably are aware of, who is cold and remote, the empty void or ocean. And then there is the Empress, who is warm, nurturing, and overflowing with diversity and abundance. The third letter of the ancient biblical Hebrew alphabet is Gimel, which means camel. And it is like a camel going across the desert that the Empress carries her child first in her body and then out into the world through birth. The Empress isn't just the mother to a single child, though. She is a symbol of the mother of everything, the abundance and fertility of creation, and she carries all things across the void of creation and into the world of manifestation. She takes the child and carries it in her body, covering it with her flesh, and takes it across the threshold from spirit to matter. She carries it out of the dark forest and into the bright sun. Now, the planetary attribution of the Empress is that of Venus. So there is coming your way love, fulfillment. And Venus also deals with money and business matters, so there could well be some material rewards coming your way as well. I think you could hear of a pregnancy during this time. I think what she signifies for you is that you are going to become in touch with the beauty of your life. Now, you may well be exploring a relationship with your mother or with a maternal figure, or becoming a maternal figure or a mother to somebody else, giving them counsel, giving them advice. You'll have a very empathetic and caring personality. And she reminds you that spirituality is expressed from the heart and not from the head. Wisdom, connection between spirit and matter, inner and outer wealth. Now, what she also says to me is that, actually, interestingly, and I'm looking at this figure here, that of the tree and nature around her, is that you might find that you have a real interest in nature during this time. You might get out into nature. I think you'd be looking at pictures or videos about nature on the internet. You'll be a natural mother or a natural father type figure during this period, and probably strongly service-oriented. And I don't think that anybody's going to be able to easily categorize you as being either intellectual or emotional during this period. I think other people are going to recognize in you your strong leadership ability. This card is particularly good for women because it says to them, you have what it takes and just get on with it. Understand that the beauty that you see in others which attracts you to them is a beauty that you carry within yourself. You're in the process of unfolding and evolving your femininity, or the feminine side of your nature, if you are a man. Now, men don't need to get alarmed by that, because we all have a feminine aspect to us, but it's very much the masculine which prevails. Now, this might be the time to work through and clarify unresolved parental conflicts. Say to yourself, I give and receive wisely. I realize that the capacity to receive is equally as powerful as the capacity to give. I value the healing power of beauty, harmony, and love, and I am filled with power and beauty. And so you are, Leo. Of anybody, it's you has power and beauty. Good job, Leo. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I did providing it to you. It's my great pleasure to provide these monthly readings for you. So, of course, just please like and subscribe. It does actually help the channel, and it would help me be seen by a number of other people as well. You were fantastic during that reading. You did a really good job. Now, the only other thing that's left for me to say is this, that You are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.